I want to take a few minutes here to talk about the subject of retirement from a Christian point of view. Now, I've been in the ministry, I've served in the church for around 9 years now, and one of the things that I notice when chatting with pastors is that some of them have this concept that retirement is bad, retirement is evil. It is sort of a worldly concept that is a modern invention, and that those who are truly spiritual or those who have a high theology of work shouldn't have their ambition and a goal to retire at all. Really, the best thing to do is God made you to work, and so you just need to work until you die. That's the healthiest and the most godly thing that you can do. Now, not all Christians think this way. For instance, I read this book recently, Retiring Well. This was put out by a medical doctor, published by Crossway, and it was great. Like, one of the points he makes here, he says, Scripture says very little about retirement. In fact, retirement for the average worker was unknown in biblical times. People stayed at their job as long as possible till they died. Okay, and so this is what some of these pastors are saying. They're saying, hey, this is a modern concept. People just used to work until they died because they were poor and disease was a big thing and life was hard. So yeah, sure, that is granted. But I want to take a look at what does the Bible actually say about this, because there's a very interesting section here in Numbers chapter 8. In Numbers, this is talks about the Levites being dedicated, and the Levites, this is what they were to do. Verse 19, it says, they will serve in the tabernacle on behalf of the Israelites and make sacrifices to purify the people, so that no plague will strike them when they approach the sanctuary. So the Levites were sort of the clergy class, the ministers who were to serve as at the tabernacle. But now it has this important rule. If you look at Numbers 9, verse 23 to 26, it says, the Lord also instructed Moses, this is the rule that the Levites must follow. They must begin serving in the tabernacle at age 25, and they must retire at the age of 50. Okay, so there's a minimum age of 25, and there's a maximum age of 50. So you could only serve for 25 years. Verse 26, after retirement, they may assist their fellow Levites by serving as guards at the tabernacle, but they may not officiate in the service. This is how you must assign duties to the Levites. Okay, so contrary to some of these people's opinions, the Bible does speak about retirement for the clergy in particular. And it says that, hey, yes, just like it makes sense for there to be a minimum age, there's also an expiry date. At age 50, you're no longer suited, you're too old to serve in this capacity. You should not officiate in these services anymore. Fine, you can do some other work, you can be a guard, or you can do whatever other work, but you cannot do this work anymore. So I just wanted to throw this out here for people. Sometimes people just say things. They have their little, they pick up, they say, oh, people didn't retire back in the day, so therefore retirement that as we know it today is unbiblical and we shouldn't practice it. Don't jump to conclusions so quickly. Anyone would understand if you just think about it from a practical point of view, from a natural theology point of view, from a philosophical point of view, that you would see that of course it makes sense for people to retire at some age. How many times in politics today where our politicians are a million years old, and I also don't like the idea of pastors who continue to do the work well past their prime into the 80s when it just doesn't serve the church well anymore. So I like the scripture. It has a clear 25 to 50, and then you should retire in your prime. Don't go past it. So I'm not saying there should be some sort of strict cutoff date here for pastors or anyone else, but this is just a quick little video to debunk the silly notion that no one should retire